Hey everybody, I'm Tommy and you're on the boat. What's happening? Hopefully you're all having a good day. Let's see who we got here. Randy, good to see you. Tennessee girl, what's up? Viztex, good to have you here. Carlos, what's happening? Just Joan, good to see you. Prayers and love to everyone struggling, trying to cope with life. Well, that's a beautiful sentiment, isn't it? That really is fantastic. I had a weird day today, man. I had a really weird day, and I'm going to share it with you real quickly. Before I get too into it. Renee B., good to see you. What's up, Sandy, Wendy, Just Joan? How are you? So I had a really weird day. I went and met a friend. We'll call him Jay because his first name starts with a J. And I was going out to meet Jay to have a drink and to just say hello. And Jay Woodman, good to have you here. Hey, Caroline in Canada. And Jay brought a guest with him. And this guest is a YouTube person, and they're very into true crime. Louise Marie, how are you? Wow, I chose a great one to watch live tonight from Boston. We love Boston. Got a lot of friends from that part of the world. Spent a lot of time in Boston, Southie particularly, but know a lot of people from Boston. So this guy brings a girl with him, and it was a very uncomfortable situation. It was almost like it was a blind date kind of a thing. Audra in Denver, good to see you. And it was just, I don't want to meet people that are super into true crime and into YouTube that would like to meet me. It's a very uncomfortable feeling, and it may sound like I'm being a jerk or whatever, but I'm with that chick right there, just for starters. You know what I mean? Like, it may sound awful and it may sound super antisocial or whatever. I don't want to meet any women. It's just one of those things. There are people who are very comfortable with that kind of stuff, and they're very social, and they can flirt and it's harmless and all that. I'm not that dude. I'm not that dude at all. And it just made me really uncomfortable. And I ended up getting up during the time that I was sitting there and saying, I got to run, and just sort of leaving both of them there. And it was it was a super uncomfortable situation. And it's left me, it's kind of left me in a shitty mood. So I apologize if I'm not in a good one. Run on the banks Friday morning, ATM empty. You're kidding. Well, that's odd. Southie, you have that look and means where I can see you in Southie, yet I could also see you laughing at the beach in the fanciest shorelines. Yes, well, I was probably more likely in Southie. Tommy, ever met prisoners who liked staying in prison? It's odd that you say that. This was actually one of the things that the woman that came to meet me this evening asked me the exact same question, for real. She said, as far as like institutionalized, did you ever meet anyone who was institutionalized or anybody that wanted to stay there? And I did. I was once going to medical, and I wasn't leaving at the time. I was just going to medical, but there was a guy leaving, a black dude that did not want to leave. And he literally was trying to attack the cops so he would catch another charge and be able to stay in. Sadly, those people do exist. And it's just because they've spent so much time inside that they don't know what it means to be outside. I'm sorry that happened to you, babe. Super uncomfortable. Also very disrespectful of that guy to bring a woman to meet you. Yeah. Yeah, it was uncomfortable. It's not really my wheelhouse. And it was just it wasn't a great thing for me. And I know that Jay wasn't trying to be a dick. And I know that the person that came to meet me is watching this, guaranteed. But I don't want to meet. Again, there are people that are very comfortable in those situations. I'm not one of them. For a long time, I was on drugs for about 30 years of my life. And there were no situations that I was in that I found uncomfortable. Drugs gave me the ability to feel like no matter what happened, I was comfortable. This was not something I was comfortable with. It just sucked all the way around. However, I'm here now, and we're going to do an Ask Me Anything. There is all kinds of stuff going on with true crime. There are things going on with the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping. It is just one of those situations that between there and everything else, there's a lot going on. There's plenty of things that you can ask, and I am going to roll with it. Sony, here's the thing. I do trust my feelings. It's just that it was a shocker. It was one of those, hey, what the hell are we doing? And just by way of full disclosure, this was a very attractive woman. It had nothing to do with that. It's just that there are people on this planet that can flirt with the other gender and feel very comfortable doing it, and it's harmless or whatever in their mind. It's not a big deal, and they can flirt and kind of be that person. And I felt like that's the situation that I was dropped into, and I'm not that dude. I'm not that dude. And it left me very uncomfortable. And first of all, I'm not Mr. Beast. I'm a very small YouTuber. And when you meet someone who says, well, I'm a big fan of yours, that in and of itself, the word fan to me means fanatic. And it always, all of the people that hate me on this planet were big fans of mine at one time or another, right? They use that word. And it's just one of those creepy things. Just Joan, I don't know that he understood what he was doing. I sure as shit left a voice message for him that kind of painted a picture of how this was not something that I was comfortable with, and that most assuredly, if we are ever to spend time together again and someone is going to be brought there, I want to know about it long before that happens. No, Tommy isn't a flirt at all. All women tend to make him uncomfortable. I'm really upset with that guy for being so rude. Again, it's just everybody's a little bit different, right? Flirting is kind of special in private for some people. I mean, Reese is incredibly flirty, and it's not a thing for her. It's no big deal. But I'm not. I'm someone that I don't. It would be a very long story, and one that's probably too long to tell. But what it comes down to is that I don't want to be in a situation that I have to sort of act as if I'm comfortable around people. It's not something I want to do. Valerie says, lost my husband 6 months ago, and people try to fix me up. Not cool. No, it is not cool. I mean, maybe 5 years from now, Valerie, maybe never. But that should be your decision. It shouldn't be somebody else's. And when people say, hey, I'd like to set you up with somebody. It was funny. My mom once said to me and my brother, she said there was somebody at church that she met, an old guy, and he flirted with my mom. And my mom said, would you guys be cool if I ever decided I wanted to date somebody? And both of us were like, no, we would kill you. No, I mean, if it was something she wanted to do, she's like, I would never do that. I would never do that. And we were joking about it, but no, we wouldn't have been comfortable. Would you have felt uncomfortable if Jay had brought a male buddy who wanted to meet you? A lot less, to be honest with you, a lot less. And look, this girl's probably watching this, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but she was flirty as hell. This girl obviously had watched The Lifeboat. She brought up certain subjects I had done a long time ago. She was European, and no, I was uncomfortable. She was an attractive woman, and she was showing an interest in me that I didn't have any interest in. I don't want anybody doing that. I don't know. I'm different. I'm not either. I hate small talk. Here's the thing, Run the World. I can make small talk right till the end of time. I'm a great communicator. It's just that when the interest in you seems more than the subject matter, I get very uncomfortable. I'm just not a flirt. I can flirt with somebody that I care about. Flirting with somebody I don't care about, to me, is just, I don't know. It feels wrong. And it's different for everybody. I've known people over the years that I had a girl that I dated at one time who literally flirted with every single person she met. And it wasn't, in her eyes, it was harmless. But I'm not that person. I find myself being very, very uncomfortable. It was a shit situation. I'm sorry. But I don't mind making small talk. Like Woodman had asked, if it was a guy, no, we probably would have sat around and talked about true crime, and we would have talked about, conspiracy theories and things like that, and it would have been a lot of fun. I don't mind making small talk. I enjoy the subject matter that I'm involved in. But this girl had a skirt on that was really short, right? She dolled herself up to come and meet me, and all of it just made me super uncomfortable. It is what it is, man. It is what it is, and I'm not trying to sit and bitch. And there are guys out there right now going, "Oh, you poor mother." I don't want to hear it, man. Honestly. You never walked a mile in my shoes. I lived a very different life than you. And there are just things in your past that will make you view life through a different lens. And that's kind of where I'm at. Well, that's a very kind thing to say. Your last video was the best I've seen in the Reiner case. I sent some kind of XP points or whatever. First time ever. I want to see you cover the case with Reese live, allegedly. I've asked Reese if she would like to do that. Reese kind of defers to the fact that I'm busy and she doesn't want to get me doing more content. But I would love to go to Colts and Crims and talk about something like this and have her bounce questions off of me because Reese asks questions other people are thinking, and that's always kind of been the way with us. But we'll see what happens. Hey, are you walking? Are you a walking, talking brain? I have enough respect for you, and I adore Reese. Sharing your brain is my only motive. I know that I know things I don't. You know what? Here's the thing. I know I sound like a dick, and there are all kinds of people that are going to hear this and be like, "Oh yeah, poor you." F off. You get it or you don't. I'm comfortable within a certain wheelhouse, and I engineer my life so that I don't have to leave that wheelhouse. And this absolutely felt like a date. And you know what I mean? I show up wearing a ring. Don't bring a girl to meet me if I show up wearing a ring. That seems to me like a wildly disrespectful thing. And if she had showed up with her boyfriend and the two of them wanted to talk about shit, I'd have been comfortable doing it for hours. But it very much felt like they were trying to, they were engineering the two of us to get together. And I'm not a flirt. I'm not a cheater. I'm not any of those things. And it makes me super uncomfortable. Brandon Calloway, how are you? And it puts you into a position where you have to say things that are uncomfortable. I lied, and I'm not a fan of lying these days. There was a time I didn't give a shit about that, but I lied. I said, "Oh boy, you know what? I've got to get the show on." I lied about when the show was going on, and it's an uncomfortable thing. It's not something that I should have to deal with, but unfortunately, I did. Only 24 likes and 103 people in here. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. I'm going to say things that are going to get me absolutely demonetized. So do me a favor and smack that like button. If you have not hit subscribe, please do it. Maybe if you ever get brought to dinner, I'll have a conversation with you. But if you don't hit that subscribe button, certainly I'm not going to. Oh, no, you don't sound like a dick. I'm thankful that you are a stand-up guy who is faithful to women he loves. I think that makes you a rare man. Well, thank you. And here's the thing. If I had sat there at the table and flirted with the girl for an hour, it wouldn't have made me a cheater, right? But I'm not that person. You know what I mean? There are people that, I mean, just because they flirt doesn't make them a cheater. It just makes them somebody that they find entertainment in playing that character in that role. But I'm not that cat. Is there a reason some of your past episodes can't be downloaded to watch later? I don't get it. I don't have any idea. All of my past episodes you should be able to download. If you can't, it's the big red button. It's not me. I have no problem whatsoever with that. Reese, I feel like I have to. Because I am different. I'm just different. It's one of those things. Ashley G, good to see you. I'm different. And for better or for worse, for good or for bad or whatever, I'm different. I'm not like other people. And there are times I feel like I have to explain myself. And I know I probably don't, but I end up doing it anyway. It's understandable that all of this affects your mind. Honestly, Tommy, you can take a couple of days off, research and sleep. You'd be energized, Tommy, again. Here's the thing. I was energized before this happened, right? Lisa Smith says, I'm here, just not getting my notifications. I'm glad that you made it anyway. 9:00 on the Eastern Seaboard is about the time that I'll be ready to roll. So and I'll be back, people. It just it puts me in I should have taken Johnny. Believe it or not, I tried. I texted Johnny, but Johnny was well, I caught him at the wrong time. He's like, I'm on my way to you. And by the time he was on the way to me, I was already walking off, one of those things. Reese is my woman, period. Good. Tell her that. I don't enjoy talking with people I tend to think of as being only two-dimensional. The real people I'll talk to, about anything you want. I'm a lot more comfortable after I get to know somebody. And again, you know what? And maybe if she had showed up in a pair of sweatpants, but she seemed like she got very dolled up to come out and meet me, and just all of that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm a weirdo. It's what it is, man. Never not going to be a weirdo. Moist Gizzard. Hello. I don't get to say Moist Gizzard as often as I'd like to. I just got here, so I don't know what happened. I guess. Nah. Here's the thing in a nutshell. A guy I know in town, his first name starts with the letter J. I call him Jay. Jay said, hey, I'd love to go out and meet you for a drink. And he brought me to a place I had never been before. And I was there maybe 3 minutes. And a woman showed up. And he's like, oh, this is who I wanted to introduce you to. She watches true crime. She's super into true crime. And apparently she watched you back in the day when you were doing Diddy stuff. Like she knew me from when I was doing stuff with, with all of the Diddy content. She first saw me on Surviving the Survivor. And that's nice. And I love that. Like, thank you. But it just felt like they were trying to set me up with this girl, and it just made me super uncomfortable. And I ended up leaving after one drink. I lied and said, I'm going live at 8 o'clock. I knew I wasn't going live until 9, but I trucked out of there. And it's just, I don't know, man. I'm not as social as people probably would give me credit for. And if you've seen me on Cults and Crims, I flirt with Reese a lot. And if you've seen me on her channel, I flirt with Reese a lot. I don't flirt with other people, right? And a lot of people do, and they make jokes about it. And it's a cool thing, and it's a YouTube thing. I don't do it. It makes me wildly uncomfortable. And this was just a bad situation. And again, like she showed up super dressed up, which maybe this girl goes out dressed up like this all the time, but she looked like she was getting ready for a date, and it just kind of made me sick. Who is the best, nicest prison guard you ever had, and at what prison? Like someone who let rule-breaking activities slide. The best cop ever wasn't the guy that let rule activities slide, but his name was Stecy, and he worked at Lewisburg in Pennsylvania. And I got thrown into a cage with a guy that was a different race, and the guy tried to steal a ring I had on. He didn't try. He said to me, if you take that ring off and give it to me, we're not going to get in a fight. And I was like 4 inches taller than this guy, probably outweighed him by 60 pounds. So I was like, well, I said something I won't repeat on here, but it had something to do with his mother. And we ended up getting in a fight. And I was running away from the guy, literally. And the white guys are like yelling at me through the cage, calling me a pussy and whatever, like, hit him. I didn't want to start over day one, phase one, right? I didn't want to start the program again. So I was running around in circles trying to get away from this guy. And then he hit me in the throat, and I got really pissed, and I stopped and beat the shit out of him. And they were going to start me over day one, phase one, and it was going to be 18 more months in the shoe. And Stecy came in and said, I want to be your rep. Hey, Eva Marie. And he went out of his way to get me out of the trouble I was in. And that never happened to me ever, anywhere. But he really went out of his way. And he said the cops were in the wrong on this. He kind of put his ass on the line to help me, and I'll never forget that, man. I honestly will never forget that. I decided to go back and watch your earlier episodes, and I could hardly recognize you. You are much more confident now and better dressed nowadays. Maybe that's Reese's influence. I've had the same clothes the whole time. She may have started to recommend certain things that I wear. She certainly has considerably more interest and knowledge when it comes to fashion than I do. I've been wearing the same polo shirts for 30 years. They're getting kind of old at this point, but I wear a lot of polo. I would guess you are an INTP. Okay. I don't exactly know what that means, but I wouldn't be surprised by it. Do you think David and his boyfriend will be locked up soon? How will they fare in prison? War and Peace, it's funny that you say that because I do believe this guy's his boyfriend. I looked through a lot more Getty images. He's talking about David. That would be D4VD, right? And they seem to be in contact with one another physically more than I would be comfortable with a man. Doesn't make you gay, but I'm kind of believing that that there's a case of that, right? But I don't think they will fare well in prison. I'm just being really honest. Men are homophobic in prison, right? Just Joan. Yeah, she said that. I'm getting ready to diet again. Actually, I'm also going to handlebar it here shortly. Wow, this is a solid show of support. So many people are members. The conversation is exploding. Yeah, this is a good crew of people. But what is Nick up to? Nick is reverting back to childhood, apparently. I don't buy that for a second, people. I also don't buy that information is even getting out of the prison. He is in a cell that they're filming him. there are very few guards who are watching Nick. There might be 2 over the course of a day. It's not one of those situations where he's in a unit. There could be 5 or 6, guards. He's sitting and someone is looking at him on a computer screen. I don't believe any of that narrative. I don't believe that information is getting leaked out of there. I think that TMZ is running with that narrative and we're going to keep hearing it. But Nick, I would imagine at this point, if I had to guess legitimately, he's coming to the realization that he has effed up his entire future, his life, killed his parents. Like the realization of who and what he is sinking in. Out of all the concerts you were lucky enough to see, which one was your favorite? I'm a real Billy Joel guy. I mean, I saw a lot of great Grateful Dead concerts. Pink Floyd, I saw a lot. They never put on a bad concert. The Eagles, Hell Freezes Over tour was amazing. But I'm such a Billy Joel fan that the best concerts I saw were always Billy Joel. He just killed it. And I saw him with Elton John a couple of times. But I saw Billy Joel in concert where we had to pay about $5,000 to get the seat. And there was a lot less people in there. And you could raise your hand and ask questions. And that was magical. I'm unsure if he was a P or a J, INT for sure. Can somebody tell me what that is? Because I have no idea what you're talking about. And now it's starting to make me feel a little weird. It is a good group of people here. Run the world. Tell me what you're talking about. Your type is classic engineer brain with a heavy dose of feeling. So this is a brain type, this IN. Did I miss it? Did you say it somewhere else? The Myers-Briggs Personality Indicator Test. I am an INTJ. Tell me what those initials mean, please, somebody. I'm a disabled clinician, so I know a lot about it. Okay. I've got a permanent side eye. No, I have a permanent droop eye. The new me. I have a permanent side eye for Nick Reiner. He knows what he did and just wants to drool and rub crap in his hair until he convinces prison psychiatrists to let him go home. He's not going to get home. He may end up, however, being found not guilty by reason of insanity. Temperaments based on Carl Jung's 16 personality type. I know, but I read Carl Jung's, all of it. I had a Carl Jung tattoo at one point. Introvert, intuition, thinking, and perception. Well, here's the deal that's kind of unusual about that, okay? I was not introverted my entire life. I was the exact opposite. But I spent all of my life messed up. I was on drugs. And I got sober. And after I got sober, it changed everything for me. I've talked about this on the show many times, but like when we had family gatherings, I was the entertainment. I was going to make everybody laugh. And when I got out of prison, it was my first Christmas out of prison, and like 19 people came to the house, and every single head in the place turned and looked at me like, right, do what you do, right? Make us laugh. And I remember looking at my family and going, I got to leave. It was a terrible feeling, but I was like, I can't be here anymore. This is making me so uncomfortable. And I'm like, I love you. I'm sorry, but I'm going for a walk and I'll be back in like 2 hours. And it's just, I struggle, man. Those of us born on July 3rd, you, me, and Tom Cruise, apparently. Just Joan. Well, thank you. I don't know that I'm doing great. I really don't. I don't know that I'm doing great. But I'm doing the best I can. And I think that that's all any of us can hope for, right? I'm enjoying doing YouTube. For the most part, I'm really having a good time. It's fun to be doing topics that I care about again. It's also fun to not give a shit if anybody sees them. There was a time that the topics I would do would be very I wouldn't do a topic if I cared about it. I would do a topic if it was going to be seen. I was going to do a topic if a bunch of people would watch it. I knew I was going to do a show on journaling this morning and no one was going to see it. And I didn't give a shit because the people that are going to see it are going to get something out of it. And there's something liberating to not caring about any of that. And if in the United States, I wouldn't be able to do this. But making a fifth of what I was making in the U.S. here still gives me an opportunity to live a good life. So, and everybody's been helping. There's been a lot of super chats. There's been a lot of support. It's been the last month and a half have really made me feel like a YouTuber again. Did I get sober in prison? I did. Not immediately. So I went to prison 3 times. The first time I went for possession of stolen property. The second time I went for bank robbery. And the third time I went for felon in possession of a firearm and illegally selling firearms across state lines. And I got like 8.5, 9 years the last time. And I was 4 years in before I met Q. At that point, I got sober. But I did get sober in prison. I kicked because I was still addicted to heroin. And I met Q, and he was a black dude in a federal prison, which is there's plenty of black dudes in federal prison. They're not allowed to hang out with white guys. So it was a very odd thing. You're the only YouTube channel I subscribe to. The knowledge you have with drugs in jail is amazing. I've learned a lot due to my son being in the same position. Thank you. Well, that's a really beautiful thing to say, and it's an honor. I'm glad that you listened to me. You know, I mean, there were times I'm still shocked that people will listen to me, period. But greatest bumblebee dude. Everybody makes mistakes. It's mainly who us folks do next. Yeah. Me too. My therapist at the outpatient clinic had us all take the Myers-Briggs when we entered rehab. He put together peer groups based on results. Saved my life. Sober a decade. Whoa! What's up? Congratulations. Can we get a 3 for that, people? So I used in prison first. I did. I used every day in prison for 4 years. Every day. The only time I didn't use is if we were on a lockdown and I couldn't get dope. But I lived next to the shot caller. And he wasn't the shot caller when I got there. He was just a guy I got high every day. And once he became the shot caller, we really started getting high. Shot callers get 10% of all the drugs that are brought in. And he was getting 10% of everything. And he would come in the morning and be like, Rocco, what's up? And just dump dope on my table. I was very lucky. All of the things happened. Blessed might probably be the best word. Do you think the authorities know something about Guthrie case? Absolutely. I think the authorities know everything about the Guthrie case. If we look back to the Brian Koberger case, they were telling us the day of the arrest, they had no suspects. They had no leads. They were following nothing. They already had DNA. They already had all of the cell phone stuff. They had already tracked him. They knew everything that was going on with that, right? But they lied to us. Dana Clark, 3 and proud of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I would be super proud of her as well, man. I really, that's a beautiful thing. For the newbies here, Tommy's prison name was Rocco. I apologize. Yeah, well, my name in general was Rock or Rocco for a really, really long time. I got out and became Tommy Scoville, but Rock was the name I couldn't shake. A decade, right? How good is that? Let me get my 3 up there because that is always impressive as hell to me. It really is. I'm on my 11th year off of heroin. Now, have I been completely abstinent and off every single substance? I have not, but I've been very open and honest about that here on the channel. But my problem was heroin. Never had a problem with alcohol. Never had a problem with a lot of other substances. I did have a problem with mixing drugs. For instance, I did a lot of methamphetamine, but I only did meth so that I could continue to do more heroin. I did cocaine as a way to mix it with meth. The drug that got me, for years I did everything and I would do it and quit and do it and quit. And it was never really an issue until I did heroin. And heroin got me like that. Do I think you think she's dead? Honestly, here's the thing. Logically, yeah, she's dead. I'm sorry, right? That's a bummer. However, if there really is a kidnapper out there, and this kidnapper has been sending correspondence and asking for a ransom sum, a dead body is worth nothing, right? It is considered de rigueur. It's considered absolutely imperative that you can show proof of life before you get paid. So if there really is a kidnapper out there, and if this, if you know the letters are legit, and look, one person got busted for running a fake letter, right? So the rest of them we have to assume are legit. So maybe, right? Maybe she's still alive. I thought meth would keep me from ODing, and I took a shot of fentanyl and OD'd even with the meth. Absolutely, it's not going to help you. You'd be wide awake and overdosing. You know what I mean? You'd be wide awake and overdosing. Why do all these video pleas look like they're captive? It's all very strange. You know what? Here's the thing. I said something like this morning to a friend of mine. I won't tell you who the friend is, but we used to do content together. And we've started recently firing stuff back and forth at each other. We'll probably never do content again, but it's an awful lot of fun to talk to him. And he said to me, all of these things look like these people are, they're hostage videos. And my response to him was this, because at first I said, yeah, I agree with you. They all do look like that. Who knows what it's like, right? I mean, in their defense, their mother just got kidnapped. There is there's a letter out there. They don't know if it's true or if it's not true. It has to be hell. It has to be literally them in hell trying to figure out what's going on in their life. I don't know what normal would look like. I must agree with you on Nancy Guthrie. Heart issues at her age, along with the medicine she needs, coupled with the stress, would do her in by herself. Throw in dope sick, right? Both daughters made a point of mentioning that without pain medication, she will be in excruciating pain. The kind of pain medication that you take for excruciating pain is an opiate. Without an opiate, let's say you've been on it a month, right? You cut off, you're going to get dope sick. I have a feeling that she would be in full-blown withdrawal. She would also be 84 years old. She is frail. She can't walk 50 yards. Sharp as a tack. The mind is completely perfect from what everyone says. But her body is failing, and that's what happens. Hold on one second. I feel sick saying it, but I don't think Nancy is alive anymore. I don't think it makes you a bad person to say that. Right? This is just kind of, she could die from withdrawal at her age. I agree with you. Right? We don't know what she's on. Let's say she's on fentanyl, right? Alpha fentanyl, the clean stuff. Let's say she takes patches. Being without that could literally kill someone at that age. Yes, I thought about that also. There's no emotion in reading a script. Just my opinion, but I'd be so frantic. I'd speak from the heart, but who knows? I've never been in that situation. Nikki, I will ask you this. Did you find that Savannah seemed a lot more like you would be and Annie didn't? Because I'll be honest, man, and maybe it's because they already planted in my head that Annie's husband, Tommaso, may be in on this. And I'm sorry, but if I had kidnapped my mother-in-law, Reese would have known about it, right? There's no chance in hell I could have kidnapped my mother-in-law and my wife not know it. So the first place my head went was, if by some chance this happened, then there's an excellent chance. Savannah seemed real, right? Exactly. Savannah seemed real and Annie didn't. Now, maybe it's because I'm tainted, but my first thought was she knows what's going on. She's uncomfortable. That Ma, that just seemed very forced and staged to me. Tommy, you were in prison with Jeffrey McDonald. I was in at the same time. We were not at the same yard, but I was in prison at the same time. Reese says I would definitely know. You know how she knows that? Because I've been trying to kidnap her mom now since I met her. I've been trying to talk her into it. She just will not let me do it. But I've been wanting to kidnap her mom for a long time. I'm kidding, people. I'm kidding. I've never been addicted to drugs or alcohol, but I have tremendous respect for the people who lived through that pain and fought their way clean. That deserves respect. I believe that does as well. And I really appreciate that, Just Joan. It's a rare thing for someone to say, I've never been there, but I respect people that fought through it. Most people do not. Patty King says, this is the most puzzling head scratcher I've ever tried to wrap my head around. That's because this is a really weird situation, right? All the way around, this is a weird situation. Normally, you have much more interaction between the kidnappers and the people that are paying, right? So let's say I did successfully kidnap my mother-in-law. I would be talking to them every day. I would be doing everything I could to keep a conversation going so that they knew, number one, she's healthy and in good shape. Number two, I need to be paid by such and such a time. To send out a letter that says, I need to be paid by 5:00 on Thursday. And if not that, I need to be paid by Monday. That doesn't make any sense to me. It seems to me that Anne also almost seemed sedated. You know, you're not the first person to say that. A bunch of the first thing I heard today when I went live on that subject was somebody went, Annie looked like she was on Xanax. How do you argue that? She looked sedated. She sounded sedated. Now, maybe she was. That necessarily wouldn't make her a bad person. If you're somebody that takes something for, let's say you take a prescription for Xanax. Why are you taking it? More than likely for anxiety, right? But if you're taking it for anxiety, well, holy shit, how much more anxiety could there be? The sheriff did say tonight, Ashley Banfield reporting on the son-in-law is reckless. I agree. However, that doesn't mean he's not in on it, right? He seems the most likely, but who knows? I feel like I'm watching a Lifetime movie. Yeah, we're not privy to kidnappings very often. We don't hear this stuff coming out, right? Stupid question. What drugs are considered opiates? Is Xanax. Xanax is a benzodiazepine. Opiates are things that either come from the poppy plant or they're synthetic. They come from the poppy, but they attach to what's called the mu receptor, the mu receptor. Opiates are painkillers, right? So Percodan, Percocet, OxyContin, all of those are painkillers. Benzos are tranquilizers. Reese, she said that your show today was really funny. Yesterday's was not. Xanax is a benzo. That's right. Opiates would be OxyContin, Percocet, Loratab, Suboxone. Suboxone is a very strange opiate, but it is an opiate. I try to see innocent until proven guilty, maybe because Annie saw Nancy last, but she didn't, right? Or maybe she did. But we've been getting two stories for a really long time. Tommaso saw her last, right? Because Annie stayed at home with the kids. Or maybe not. It's gone in both directions, man. It's gone in both directions. I get a small script for anxiety meds. I'm not pissed at you. I'm not pissed at you. I also know that everyone has a different reaction to stressful situations. Savannah is in a high-stress job and often has to deal with it. How many people have that kind of experience in their lives? That's a key point, honestly, right? Maybe Anna's on drugs. Maybe she is so scared and driving her brain nuts. Maybe the doctor gave her something to help her settle her nerves. I mean, look, she could take Xanax and she would take a lot more of it in this situation. Tommaso's album is called Life, Love, Murder. The cover art is a giant snake eating a deer. The lyrics are disturbing. Dude is throw her off. Well, here's the thing. I understand. I mean, I do. I understand. But if you're in a rock band and you're trying to be cutting edge, if that came out, imagine if Ozzy Osbourne ended up being suspected of crime. We'd be like, good God, Blizzard of Oz, look at the blood on him. Look at all of this stuff, right? All of the, the upside down crosses and all of this shit. We would run with it. Rock and roll always has some symbology that's not great, right? I get Suboxone and Klonopin. I have to restrain myself. I fail. Well, I'm glad that you are honest about that, right? If you're running out of your clonazepam, which is Klonopin, if you're running out before your prescription is supposed to be up, then you need to reevaluate, right? And Suboxone, mixing Suboxone and a benzo is a dangerous thing. Anytime you mix two respiratory depressants, for the love of God, don't drink. You put 3 in and there's a good chance you'll fall asleep and stop breathing. I believe with the phone dump, they found a lot more in an added different direction than they even thought. You know something? Yeah, I think that there's a chance of that. Reese today on her show, they actually pulled her show up while I'm there with this girl that's flirting with me. And Reese is on there talking about flirting with a person that works at her pharmacy. And I'm sitting in the chair like this going, my life friggin' sucks. Like, I don't want to be here. And then I thought to myself, Jay knows I got a wife and he brings this chick here. I wanted to punch him in the face. It left me in a really pissed off situation. And I'll be honest, I'm not doing well. I'm not over it. But it is what it is. I believe the info dump, they found a lot more. I think so too. Here's the other thing, people. They're gonna look at all of the different towers, right? They're going to look at all of the different towers. And they're gonna say, okay, on the 31st, she disappeared. So let's look at the 30th, the 29th, the 28th. What pings off of all of these towers, right? What pings off of all of these towers? Okay, what's pinging off this tower this time that wasn't pinging off of it before? You follow me? They're going to look for people that shouldn't be there. They're going to look for devices that shouldn't be there. I encountered a not, let's see here. Hold on. I encountered a not widely labeled Scientology garbage video, not stating clear, or you, the viewer, may think that. Okay. Scientology scares the shit out of me. I'm sorry, it does. Barbara McCann says, praying. I'm praying for this woman too. I want a miracle to happen. For anyone who doesn't know her style, the best way to describe Relatable Reese is that she is one of the funniest people on earth. She genuinely cares, willingly talks about absolutely anything. Well, there you go. But I guess that sums it up. Thank you, Just Joan. Barbara, I hope everybody's praying for this woman. This is, it's heartbreaking, isn't it? It's heartbreaking. They're watching any old video, Golden Era production. Scientology is going to try Alan Jackson and take this crime to the bank. Run the World says she's very intelligent too. I've been telling her that for a long time. She doesn't believe anything I tell her, but I have been telling her for a long time that she's attractive. I mean, that she's intelligent. Took 11 days to get McKee. I'm just afraid that's too long to save her. Patty King, here's my thing, right? Let's think about this logically. They stopped looking for her at hour 30. Who stops looking for an 84-year-old woman? They pulled all their teams back. They were no longer going out and looking. I have to believe at hour 30, they got a ransom letter that said, we have her. Why else do you stop looking? Now, is this a fact? Shit, no. It's a Tommy Scoville theory. But why do you stop looking for an 84-year-old woman that, for all you know, at that point, truthfully, for all they know, she wandered off. Maybe she had dementia, right? They don't know. But she's missing, and at hour 30, they're like, we're not looking anymore, man. It seems odd to me. It seems very, very odd to me. But who knows, right? Who knows? This is really kind of a tough thing to figure out. But it seems to me that they stopped looking at hour 30, and I'd like to know why, right? Maybe just Jay used you as bait. Well, she wasn't flirting with Jay. She was most assuredly flirting with me. And yeah, I just don't need it. If I didn't believe in a special judgment awaiting those who harm the weak, I couldn't sleep. Me too, Patty King. And I don't know if you can put yourself into this position, but imagine sitting in a chair with somebody who's flirting with you and you're watching your wife on a video and everyone is sort of looking at her and commenting on it. It was, I don't know, man. It was one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever endured. It made me want to drink a whole lot harder than the one beer that I ordered. Whenever I pull a muscle in my back, the only thing that takes the pain away is Valium, diazepam, benzodiazepine. But the doctor won't give it to me as he says it's addictive. What would you suggest? You could ask him for a different benzo. There are benzos that people think are less addictive than that. I'll be really honest with you. I don't think they're less addictive, but most doctors will believe that lorazepam, which is Ativan, is probably less addictive than diazepam, which is Valium. So you could ask them to maybe give you that. The other thing is, I don't know whether or not if you've ever tried carisoprodol, right, Soma compound, or if you've tried cyclobenzaprine or Flexeril or one of those. But if you really pulled a muscle, then the best thing for you would probably be a muscle relaxant, right? Those absolutely do wonderful things if you really have if you really have a pulled muscle, that's your best bet. Your friend is lacking boundary awareness. Yeah, there's something to that. Tommy, I'm not sure what you're saying. I'm saying I'm sitting at a table with a girl who's flirting, and the guy's like, hey, check it out. This is Reese. And he's pulling this up on the phone, and everybody is sitting and watching you. That's a really weird thing when there's somebody that you feel like is being set up with you, and now all of a sudden your wife is on the phone. It was just a shit show. That's what I'm saying. I'm praying for the whole family, those who are totally devastated, the souls of anyone who may have anything to do with their disappearance. It's just, God, man, I can't imagine what the kids are going for. Ativan is less addictive. That's lorazepam. I'll be honest with you. I think that when lorazepam gets up into 2 milligram doses, then you're probably looking at the same thing. But it may do it may help. You could try that. But I also would talk to the doctor about a muscle relaxer. Muscle relaxers are usually considered less addictive than benzodiazepines. And if what you're dealing with is a pulled muscle, doctors aren't prescribing Soma anymore. In some places they are. It's not like they've taken carisoprodol off of the formulary. You can still get it. People do write for Flexeril a lot more. I respect you, Tommy, for telling me about your prison addiction to drugs. It takes a lot to come out and say that. Well, thank you, David. I appreciate that. I don't know if he's smart enough to have done this intentionally. I'm not trying to be a dick, but I don't know. I really don't. All I know is that it was an unpleasant evening, and it has left me in a foul mood. I'm glad that you guys are here to pick me up a little bit. What's another good muscle relaxer is baclofen. There's a lot of muscle relaxers out there that can help. I take lorazepam for anxiety. I think lorazepam, for my money, is the best benzodiazepine. It's I've seen less people get addicted to it than would get addicted to Valium, and it seems to be one that is more manageable. So you could do a lot worse than Ativan. Little pink houses for you and me. If you ever see the name brand ones, the strongest are pink, and it looks like an A. It looks just like a little schoolhouse. It's the A for Ativan, but the A comes down like this, and then the house, it looks just like a little one-room schoolhouse. I take methocarbamol, pretty good for pulled muscles. Is that Tegretol? No, that's oxycarbazepine. I'm not sure what that methocarbamol is. I found that a bitch getting off Klonopin. I would imagine Klonopin is the gnarliest of all of the benzos. Even though I have no history of drug addiction, not even a hint, my doctor won't prescribe me anything. Honestly, with my family history, it's probably the best. You know what? They give away drugs to people that they shouldn't. They give it out like cotton candy. You're better off if they're not giving it to you. That is the lazy animal right there. Just thought I'd share that with you. Little pink houses for you and me. Getting off Klonopin, you killed it. You got off clonazepam, you killed it. You should be very, very proud of yourself. Klonopin is a bitch to get off of. It is honestly, when Rohypnol, roofies, when they made roofies no longer legal, the people that used to run across the Mexican border to pick them up, they would get a drug called Rivotril instead. And if you were just looking at the box, it's both of them had an R on it. They're both about this big. They were both made by Huffman LaRoche, but Rivotril was just Klonopin. And oddly enough, Rohypnol only had one line across it, so you could break it in half. Whereas Rivotril or Klonopin had a cross on it, so you could break it into fourths. But there were people that didn't know the difference between the two. It is that strong a drug. It's a very, very strong benzodiazepine. She's a pretty cat, but she's bordering on satanic. Do you believe in other life forms, or are we the only one? I think it's arrogant to believe that we're the only one. I think from a biblical standpoint, there are places in the Bible that would lead you to believe that God created more than just the heavens and the earth, right? I believe the verse says, in my father's house, in my father's mansion, there are many rooms. If it was not that way, I would not say it. There's a lot of things in the Bible that kind of point to that. About 8 years ago, a doctor prescribed fentanyl for chronic back. It made me tired, and all I wanted to do was sleep. Next appointment, took them back and said, here, not a quality of life I want. Good for you, man. Naturalizer, that's amazing. A lot of people just fall into it because it does take away all kinds of pain, spiritual, emotional. You just start feeling better about yourself. So that is a feather in your cap, my man. Is OxyContin the same thing as heroin? Yeah. It's not, but it's so close, right? Everything is a variation of the morphine molecule. And in your body is going to process OxyContin, and it's going to turn it into morphine so that you can get it out of your body. So for the first 6 hours that OxyContin is in your bloodstream, it's going to be oxycodone. After that 6 hour mark, it's going to become morphine. Everything gets turned into morphine. It's all a variation of the morphine molecule. It all attaches to the mu receptor. So is it heroin? No, but it's damn friggin' close. They're absolutely very close to the same drug. However, here's what's crazy. heroin was a name brand made by Bayer, and it was diacetylmorphine. That's heroin. Morphine with one acetyl molecule. So uncomfortable to self-promote, but here's my channel. If anyone wants to subscribe and support, I end every show telling them to go see your channel, babe. Nothing wrong with self-promoting. This is what we do for a living. I believe in UFOs, ghosts, and Sasquatch. I showed Reese a picture of Sasquatch this morning. There's nothing wrong with it, maybe. I'm not, look, whatever anybody's beliefs are, I don't shit on anybody's beliefs anymore. I don't. And there's too much out there that we don't know enough about that I sure am not ready to say to somebody, you're wrong, you're right. That's past my pay grade. Barbara, I overeat, especially sugar, for anxiety and extreme anger. I wish I could find something else, but I dare not start on the booze, and I don't know what else to try. Exercise, fantastic. You get pissed off, instead of taking something sugary, walk. Go outside. Look at different things. Bombard your senses, right? Your smell, your taste, your touch, all of those things. What you're hearing. You go out, change the four walls you're looking at. Run, work out, do push-ups. All of these things are going to get you to create endorphins and dump them inside of you. So that's a beautiful thing. I promise you that those are things that are going to make you better. Well, I'm glad that you guys had a good time over on Reese's channel. I really did. That's a beautiful thing. I know you guys really dig her. Me, not so much, but I think it's important that you guys do. And I'm glad that she's over there and that she's bringing joy into people's life. That's a beautiful thing. There's not enough of it out there. Did you do any further research on MGM Gate Tag Sack? I did. Absolutely, I did, Lilem. And I will be doing a show on this, particularly the Gifted and Talented program, because there are so many people that have asked about that. I will be definitely doing a show on that. So stick around. I will be doing it. You have my word. There you go. Look at that. Brock Bandy's got it up there too. Little pink houses for you and me. All right, people. If you have a question, put Q's in front of it. If you have a comment, put C's in front of it. Oh, well, that's a nice thing, Just Joan. I'm staying tuned. I love it. Well, thank you. I don't know that I have an option. The way that I keep from doing heroin is talking about it, honestly. The way that I stay sober is telling other people that they can get sober. And it doesn't work for everybody. There are people that I have a friend in Ecuador that got sober, changed his life, and no one in the world is ever going to know what happened to him. And that works for him, right? That works for him. That's fantastic. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me at all. So this is kind of how I do what I do. Do I think Nick Reiner will have a trial? He absolutely will have a trial, Barbara. The question becomes, how long will it be before he has that trial? I think he's going to get bounced between mental institutions and the Twin Towers. I think he'll get sent out to Atascadero or to any of the other facilities that are designed to get people ready to stand trial. Because right now, the narrative that he is not he's not fit to stand trial is one that seems to be gaining a lot of traction. Haven't seen Johnny on here tonight. Did you lock him in another room? I hit him in the head. He had it coming. No, Johnny was walking around the Malecone earlier today. I'm not sure where he is now. I think Nick will be found incompetent for a long time. I agree, Patty King. Sadly, I think that that's probably the reality. I think that there's a really good chance they're going to find him not fit to stand trial. And when that happens, they bounce you out to one of the institutions whose job it is to get you to where you can stand trial. And it's going to be something like a Atascadero. The longest they can hold you for is 2 years. But if you look at what's happening to Farrah Fawcett's son, Redmond, it's been 7 years since his crime, and he still has not been tried. In 89 through 92, were you in the feds? Washington State did rent a prison and house them. Best cooks ever. I was not. My criminal record, I didn't go to prison until I was 39. So I went very late in life. If Dr. McGee goes to prison, will he be treated or given the... here's the thing. Dr. McGee's problem is that there's a rape involved with him. Allegedly, he raped his wife. That would be the biggest problem. Killing your wife is not something they're going to give you shit about. But he's a doctor. That's something that he can use to try to get him easier time in there. That's kind of a reality. I must have somehow missed your episode on what poor Nick R is holding up and games he's playing. Update. What was your title on that one? I don't know. Where's Kristen Melinda when I need her? I don't know the name of that. You did not miss my Marilyn Monroe show. I've put on 30 pounds in the last 12 months. Wow, that's tough. Yeah, man, exercise. You're going to lose weight and you'll be happier, I promise. I heard an autopsy report that the Idaho 4 victims had amphetamines in their system. Any idea what they were taking? If I had to go out on a limb, I'd say Adderall. Almost everybody in college takes Adderall. Doesn't mean that they were, out smoking speed or mainlining speed or doing anything like that. Adderall is going to show up in their in the body the same way. When shooting drugs, did you ever get abscesses? Oh my God. Yeah. You can't see my arms. You could ask my wife. I look like a patchwork quilt. I had so many abscesses. It's unbelievable. Redmond is now in a mental institution for schizophrenia. Very unfortunate for him, but having Ryan as his dad, he didn't stand a chance. Allegedly, Ryan had some issues. But yeah, I got all kinds of abscesses. All kinds of them. Sadly, I can't tell you how many. I wouldn't even be able to hazard a guess of how many. Of course I was kidding. Debbie Zito. Of course I was kidding. He raped her before he killed them. No. What they're saying is that when they were married, he choked her and raped her, is what he was saying. And that could be a very serious problem for him when it comes time to be incarcerated. But we don't know whether or not he sexually assaulted her. That hasn't come out, and I think it would have been in the autopsy. I don't think he did that, but he sure as hell unloaded 16 bullets on the pair of them, and that's an odd thing. No, of course, Debbie Zito. I love Reese. Don't be silly. You can ask her if she loves me, truth be told. But yeah, I love her. You wouldn't believe it. Yes, Anne-Marie. And that is an issue, man. It's the murder thing. They'll let a lot of that slide. The sexual assault thing, they will not. I think I've lost the 30 pounds you gained. My doctor suggested high protein snacks when I'm feeling anxious, and it works about 75% of the time, but the other 25%, Kinder Buenos are really good. Kinder Buenos. All right, people. I'm closing in on the 1 hour mark. I love doing Ask Me Anything shows. I could do these for a while, but I think I'm going to go crawl into a hole. I'm still feeling a little foul, and it's me. It's not anybody else. It's me. I'm broken, and these kind of things, unfortunately, put me into a bad headspace. When do you think the Menendez brothers will get released? No way Newsom will grant them clemency now that he's hyper-focused on 2028. I'll be really honest with you, man. Everybody's afraid of this case. They're all afraid of this case. And I don't blame them. I mean, for those people that were around when this happened, it was ugly, right? And the two boys killed mom and dad with shotguns, and then they went out and bought Porsche 911s and Rolex watches. Whatever happened, and I'm not saying they weren't molested, but they did a lot of things that tainted it. And there are people that are going to remember that. And nobody wants to be the people that lets them out. They want to kind of keep them, they want to cover their ass. But I would imagine that maybe one more dump. I don't think they'll get out this next time, but I think they'll get out the time after that. What's amazing to me is that they've never done anything inside to get in trouble. It's like Q. The problem is that they killed their mom. The problem is that they killed their mom with a shotgun in the face. I mean, and then reloaded it and kept shooting. That's a kind of sickness that most people aren't going to be able to wrap their brain around. And there are a lot of people that, I mean, look, if we're really putting this to critical thinking, and dad is literally raping these two, and mom is aware that dad is raping these two and doing nothing about it, I'd want to shoot her too. But patricide is just foul, right? I'm sorry, but if you got molested, call the cops, right? This is child molestation. Call the mother-loving cops. And you can go, well, the cops wouldn't do anything. Did you try? Huh? Did you try? Because if you didn't, I wonder if they actually went to see the 1989 Batman. It was their alibi. They did not. My understanding is that they did not. All right, people, I'm going to wrap this thing up. I hope everybody has a good night. And I'm sorry that I'm in a mood. I really am. But were they really raped? Here's the thing. This guy was in the music business, right? Lyle and Eric Menendez's father was in the music business. And allegedly, he worked with a band called Menudo. That band started in Puerto Rico. They were huge throughout all of Latin America. And what would happen is when somebody in the band got to be 17, they would replace them with somebody younger. So the band never got any older. They were around for decades. The father was allegedly molesting one of the kids in the band. And if that was happening, then it adds a little bit of credence to the fact that maybe he was doing something. Ricky Martin, very well done. Ricky Martin was a member of Menudo at one time. Rue says, I bet they were, my personal opinion. I didn't think so in the beginning, but now I do. All right, people, I'm going to wrap this thing up. Between now and the next time I see you, stop by and check out Chase the Heat South America. Johnny has now got seeds. Cool things are going to be happening. And if you stop by and see this girl right here, that is Relatable Reese. Stop by and hit subscribe on her channel, and you'll probably thank me later. I'm Tommy. Between now and the next time I see you, you have a great night. All right? God bless everybody. We'll see you.